What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? Welcome to Movieverse, the movie review podcast show starring these two guys. My name is Jacoby, the Habitual Pixel, and this is...
Hi, I'm Big Nasty.
Hi, Big Nasty. Today we are reviewing Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Hell yeah. And I know this is not the most timely of reviews. It came out like, what, three weeks ago, a month ago, something like that.
Just about, yeah.
But hey, we're not perfect people, you know? But we have seen it twice. Cody's seen it 3 times.
I've seen it 3 times, yes.
So I believe we're equipped to talk about this wonderful Marvel movie. Where would you like to kick it off? Anywhere.
Well, first off, in case anybody that may be saying, why would you see this movie 3 times? I thought it was
a valid
necessary
question.
that you have to see it in IMAX, just 3D, and then also in just standard, the 2D definition or whatever. And,
That's right. That's right. Big Nasty has seen it in every possible definition in theaters. Get on his fucking level.
and honestly, I think it holds up at every single level. That's usually the test of it for me, because I find a lot of movies, especially the big blockbuster kind of, what do you call them, more epic superhero movies, if you will, like even Avengers, I find did a lot better for me at the theater when I saw it in IMAX than when I had it on Blu-ray and I was watching it even.
Fair enough.
Not to knock the movie, I still love Avengers, but...
Yeah, Avengers is good, but we'll get to the comparison in a minute. The reason why we saw it so many times is because it's really good. It's a surprisingly fun, really good superhero movie.
This is the best sequel to an original since The Godfather Part 2.
This is the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel Universe, and I think I say that, pretty confidently.
I call it The Godfather 2.
Fair enough. I think one of those films may be better than the other. I'm not going to say which one. But no, I'm kidding. Godfather is far superior. Even though Star Wars is good. Anywho, Captain America. This is the best Marvel movie probably since the Avengers. Also, if you're wondering what this is, it's a sock on my microphone. So just thought I'd get that out of the way. This is the best Marvel movie.
Oh, man.
I'm going to say this is my favorite Marvel movie after seeing it a second time and actually giving it a nice analysis. I think it would have to go Winter Soldier, the original Iron Man, and then the Avengers for me. Those are my favorite. And
that's definitely a fair assessment. I would say that's easily one of the top films as far as production value and getting the storyline. The storyline was handled extremely well. I thought they did a great job of dealing with the sort of espionage and sort of who can you trust sort of scenario of the type of CIA, well in this case obviously SHIELD sort of government factions. I think it was kind of cool how they delved into that.
It was a real kind of 90-degree turn from the plot of usual superhero movies that you remember in the Avengers involved fucking aliens and shit. Thor, they go to different dimensions and shit. Captain America, this is the most grounded story. Even though Iron Man's grounded, but this is easily the most realistic of the Marvel movies. And I say that, there's all kinds of crazy shit that goes on. It just happens to be handled in a really nice, realistic fashion, especially the action. And I don't know, best Marvel movie NA.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely the best, and I would disagree with you saying that Iron Man's before Avengers. Avengers would definitely come second for me. But after that, I mean, if you look back at all the ones that they've done so far, as they've progressively gotten better at certain points, it seems that they've gotten worse. As in Thor 2, obviously, is a far drop off from the first. Sorry, I apologize to let you know then.
Okay. But I can't comment on because I haven't seen Thor 2, but Thor 1 was, I think my least favorite Marvel movie.
Well, I actually liked the first Thor, but after that, I mean, the second one's just awful. The Iron Man series, after the first one, the second and third one were just horrible.
I will strongly agree with you there. Keep in mind, to all those watching, I'm a pretty big nerd. I love my comic books, but Cody is a far step above me when it comes to knowledge of the source material. So let's just get that out of the way. But as movies go, I love Iron Man 1. It's just so goddamn good. I thought the only weakness it had was a kind of shitty villain, in my opinion, like a lackluster villain. And this movie, Winter Soldier, has two really solid villains, amongst others. There's a handful of villains actually, but the two main villains, which of course is the Winter Soldier and what's his face, corporate shield guy, whose name I'm misplacing.
Just call him Robert Redford. It's fine.
Robert Redford.
Yeah,
Sure. It is Robert Redford. Yeah, but those two villains are I think what elevates this to one of my favorites, like overall Marvel stories. I love the villains. I love the Winter Soldier. I want him to have his own movie. He probably won't, but I want him to have one.
Yeah, the performance by Robert Redford was absolutely terrific, and I was kind of wondering when I first heard of the casting with him in it, whether
It was
or
an
not
odd choice for sure, but it's definitely
I didn't
handled
know if
very
he was
well.
actually, gonna bother giving it his all, but I thought he did a pretty brilliant job, and Samuel L. Jackson, the interactions with him were pretty hilarious, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Samuel L. Jackson, I think he did a far better job than most of his other performances in the Marvel world. He did kick ass in the Avengers, I'll give him that, here and there, but this is, he takes a hell of a beating in this movie and still manages to be cool, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still playing Samuel L. Jackson with an eye patch, but that's fine. I think it works for Nick Fury.
Well, and it seems pretty much every single person that's in this that's been in the other Marvel films, or even the ones that haven't, seem to have stepped up their performance level. So, like even someone like Chris Evans or Scarlett Johansson both seem to be a little bit stronger than they did even in the Avengers.
Yeah, I was going to comment on both of them actually. Chris Evans, it's hard to even call him the star of this movie, but of course it is Captain America. But
yeah, it's still his movie.
It's more of an ensemble thing. It is his movie, and I think he does a much better job than the first Avenger or Captain America 1 or the Avengers is what I meant. And Scarlett Jo, I like her a lot in this movie. And that's for reasons beyond her being gorgeous and dressed in leather the whole time. So I like her more. I like the character of Black Widow more and more. The more films she's in.
They're starting to grow on me. Originally, I didn't like it. I mean, I got to admit, at first I thought they were going to throw the twist in with her being a double agent and working for Hydra. So I didn't know
that was. Yeah, sorry. I thought that was an obvious choice as well, but I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're going to go, what they're going to do with that, because, I mean, as far as I know, I mean, like obviously her accent doesn't work because Natasha Romanoff is supposed to be Russian.
I like how they just didn't even bother trying with an accent. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. I think she would have done. I think she. It
still works. It still works for the films. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're going to stay true to like comic lore, if you will,
yes,
then she would be Russian. But
stay true to the movieverse, if you will.
Yeah, I don't really know if they're ever going to kind of translate a lot of Black Widow's true storyline into the Marvel films. Obviously, they know way more than I do. They've got it planned to, what is it, 2028 or something ridiculous?
Yeah, 2025 or something.
Yeah, something absolutely insane.
Which is 10 years, by the way, folks. 10 years of movies already planned and organized and set into motion. These guys are evil geniuses in the best kind of way, and I look forward to fucking taking my kids to Marvel movies if they're going to be making them that long. Jesus. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of the Marvelverse, if you will.
Well, and that's exactly the point that I was getting at. It was kind of seeming that it was going up to a lull up until this film for me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's a fan of the comics and a fan of the films. I mean, I found that I was kind of just getting a little bored with the storylines up until this. I mean, I love obviously the end of Thor 2. Not obviously the end of the film, but the end of after the credits.
The Easter eggs.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, the Easter eggs that are so popular. Sorry.
But aside from that, I mean, Captain America, the Winter Soldier is the first one to me that's actually stood out besides the Avengers. And I'll give you that even since maybe even Iron Man, the first one, before that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Thor is, kind of really up in that category for either...
Not yet anyways, but, fingers crossed there's a Thor 3 or something that just blows everybody away. It could happen.
Who knows?
Yeah. What was gonna be my next point? I don't know. Oh yeah. Thing that makes me happiest about this movie and makes me like it as much as I do is that it stands on its own in the Marvel universe. It's not like Iron Man 2 where they jam fucked all this Avengers shit in there. Um, it's not like, in the other Marvel movies they go a little ham-fisted with the whole Avengers connected universe thing, but in this movie, like, they didn't ignore it obviously, but it could stand on its own story, its own characters. It didn't need cameos from Tony Stark or cameos from Bruce Banner to make it its own story, and I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well,
Yes,
yeah, and I mean the addition of Falcon was nice. Falcon is a
I do like
actually
Falcon as
I
well.
thought what's his name, Anthony McKee or Mackie? Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but I
Anthony
thought he
Mackie, I
did.
believe.
I thought he did a terrific job as him. I mean, he kind of played a similar character what he usually does. I mean, even something like Pain and Gain
Mm-hmm.
sort of transferred over in the way that he acts, the way that it relates with other characters. But I thought he did a good job, and the character worked well in his interactions with both Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans, Captain America, and even the Samuel Jackson part where he jumps out of the building into the helicopter.
Yeah,
That's yes.
that was
And that's
funny.
the thing about Marvel. That's what I mean. This one I found was obviously the closest that they're going to get to something that's more Christopher Nolan esque, where it's a little darker, more realistic world.
Mm.
But this one's
Or
like
do you
with Marvel,
think?
they're always going to be more jokey. There's going to be
Mhm.
that higher level of humor because they have to. They're always trying to address a larger and wider audience,
Yes, and being owned by Disney,
especially. Yeah.
yeah, especially. I agree with you there, but this is a bit of a step towards the darker side
Yeah, I
of
would
the
agree.
film. It's not quite Chris Nolan dark, and it's
Well,
not.
it preaches like no trust in your government, right?
It definitely does that. Like the core theme of this is
Or
to
distrust in your government.
yeah,
Sorry.
distrust the
Or the
government. It
government itself.
definitely it's super timely with all the NSA leaks,
Yeah.
internet neutrality shit that's going on right now. In the future, the internet is likely going to change significantly in the next couple of years, and it's going to affect everyone's privacy. It's just a thing that's happening, and Captain America somehow managed to wrap that shit up in a ridiculous Nazi deep science division like superhero universe, and it's awesome to say the least. It's just awesome. um, yeah, so we've rambled about characters a little bit here. They're all great. There's
Well, the only one that we haven't really touched on too, though, is the Winter Soldier, and I apologize because I don't know the actor's name.
oh yeah,
But I mean,
how could I forget Sebastian Stan, I
thank
believe.
you,
Sebastian
Sebastian
Stan, yes.
Sebastian Stan. So
Also in Black Swan.
oh shit, yeah.
Hmm. And
But
Gossip Girl apparently.
well, I've never seen that show.
Neither.
But anyways,
Oh, Hot Tub Time Machine too. I forgot about that.
in the first Captain America, I wasn't that big of a fan of the Bucky character, knowing that obviously Bucky becomes the Winter Soldier. So I
Yeah, I
mean,
guess you kind of got an in on that, right? You're
I
just like
was I was
this
a little
dude.
concerned about how he was going to transfer over into that character, or if they were even going to use him at all. Once I saw that it was
Hmm.
the same guy, I mean, I was absolutely blown away with the performance in this. The fight scenes between him and Chris Evans are absolutely fantastic. I
Yeah.
love the phenomenal fight scene in the under the bridge there, and
Hmm.
when Captain America is fighting Bucky with Bucky has a knife, he gets him against the car, ends up running up and throwing a flying knee to the sternum.
Oh yeah. They're Sorry, there's a bit of echo in your speaker there.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna turn them down just a touch.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
It's all good. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, action. Let's get into action because that's the the best part of this movie.
Wait, is that better?
Test test. Yes, that's better.
Should we redo some? Should we start over, or what should we do?
No, I'll just cut that chunk in. um, anyways, let's talk action, shall we? The action in this film is phenomenal, and it's done in a quite a different way than a lot of the other Marvel movies and a lot of just superhero movies
Yeah.
in general. This has more in common, like action, fighting, choreography wise, with shit like The Raid or Born, the Born trilogy, or I'm trying to think of other examples. It's some pretty
No,
hardcore.
you definitely hit the nail on the head.
Hmm.
I would say that it's almost as if Jason Bourne was wearing a Captain America costume
Hmm.
in a lot of the fight scenes,
Oh yeah,
or even the scenes like it was
and he
um, Bucky and or sorry, not Bucky, but the Winter Soldier and Cap fight scenes. Those are all choreographed beautifully, and the way that they handle kind of back and forth is done, like you said, quite similarly to both like an almost an on back without obviously actually hitting somebody
hmm
or the raid.
Yeah, there's a lot more like impact to him because Captain America doesn't have lasers or a giant hammer or anything. It's him and his shield. That's what he's got, and they're like a duo. The shield is like a character of its own. He's like throwing that shit one way, kicking three guys over here, and then it's bouncing all over. It's just it's glorious. If you're a
Yeah,
nerd.
they handled it a lot better than in the first movie, where it seemed almost like it was too busy, or it would be things that were just kind of over the top constantly. I
Hmm.
think the only real big over the top scene that they have in this was when he escapes the shutting doors from Shield headquarters on the motorcycle.
Yeah, that was where he
That's the only
takes.
real super crazy one. Obviously, there's
Hmm.
stuff that's outlandish,
Yeah.
but
Spoiler alert, of course, as always. But yeah,
oh, yeah,
Bucky, or sorry, Bucky, Cap takes down a motherfucking helicopter, basically, or a hover thing of some sort, just
yeah.
by himself with him and a shield. No big deal. That's
Well,
all.
yeah, of course.
That's all it takes. Um, Captain America does a lot of fucking kicking ass in this movie, and he arguably kills a few people too.
A few, or
I'm just kidding. Captain America does kill a few people in this.
he slaughters a
Samuel
fucking
Jackson
shit ton
kills
of
a
people.
few people. The Winter Soldier goes on a murdering spree of sorts. Scarlett Jo's character does a bit of killing
She
herself.
kills quite a few people.
I think this is arguably the biggest death toll in any Marvel movie. I think, and
It
that's
has to be.
and that's
Well, I mean,
and
in
that's potentially
Avengers,
including the Avengers last scene where you don't see anyone really getting fucked up, but you know what's happening.
but in Avengers too, though, you got to remember it's aliens attacking New York. They just shit blast a lot of people, didn't they?
Yeah,
Remember they're
that's what I
flying around
mean.
just
And
fucking.
that final set piece of the Avengers, yeah, the death toll would have been in the high thousands, but in this one, it's just people getting gunned down, getting the snot kicked out of them. That's fucking glorious.
Yeah, there's
um,
definitely at least a good, I'd say a high 30 to probably almost 50 people that get murdered in this movie.
I would say so, and that's like on-screen murders, of course, not
Yeah.
counting the fact that giant hover ships crash into each other and fall down. And yeah,
Okay,
it's
well
extreme.
that leads at a good point there. Best kill scene.
Of this movie.
Yeah, that because that's who expects for there to be a best kill scene of a superhero movie, really?
Yeah, no kidding. Unless it's like
We're
I don't
entering
know.
a beautiful age if there's kill scenes in superhero movies.
I agree. The shit like The Punisher and to a lesser extent Dark Knight. I'd like to see that keep going. But
Yeah.
my favorite, and there's so many good ones. I'm gonna say just by the impact of seeing it yesterday, like I didn't quite notice it the first time. It's when
Yeah.
Winter Soldier throws a motherfucker up in the air and like above the turbine of this like hovercraft thing, and it just sucks him through the turbine and explodes, and it's all done like in one shot, just like that. You don't quite know what you just saw, but it's badass. And of course, the hovercraft explodes, kills more people, and he just continues on his rampage.
I knew you were gonna go there, and so I guess just for the sake of
Why? Because I talked
argument,
about it for like 10 minutes yesterday.
just for the sake of argument, I guess I'll go ahead and say, in my opinion, one of the best kills of that whole movie
Samuel Jackson?
is probably, yeah, I'm gonna go with Samuel Jackson when he blasts all the fake cops in the middle of the street.
Yeah, yeah. That, man, it's weird to say, but this superhero movie had like two of the finest car chase action shoot 'em up scenes I've seen in fucking ages. Like, and there's two of them. There's one at the beginning with Sam Jackson, and there's one a little bit later. And I don't know, what more could you want if you're an action film fan and you're a comic book movie fan. This is a beautiful blend of the two, and it makes me happy, like a little kid.
I thought this movie was done absolutely fantastically well. That I think even if you're not a fan of comic book movies, and especially if you're not a fan of the first Captain America movie, it's easily the most must see movie of the year. I would tell people to see this over even something like Nebraska
Yeah,
or
for sure.
her. That's for sure. I did not mean to rhyme there.
Wow, I didn't even catch that. I'm impressed. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, we're not too far into 2014 here, but this is probably my favorite movie yet. I don't know what else even came out. Technically since January, right?
It's all up to Guardians of the Galaxy to change
Yeah,
my
and
mind
this
on this being the best one so far.
we'll definitely do an episode or a podcast of some sort on the upcoming barrage of awesome summer films because there's a few coming and it's probably worth talking about. But right now, anyways, Captain America's got this shit locked down.
Oh, for sure.
He's, I think, if it hasn't already outdid Iron Man 3 at the box office, it's gonna. Definitely outdid Thor 2. It Will it do the Avengers numbers? I doubt it, but it'll get probably surprisingly close, I would think. It's fucking phenomenal superhero movie. Anything else you want to talk about? Some direction, perhaps? Where is this dude? Joe Johnson, the director of... Did he direct this or did he just produce it? Excuse me. I may have just gave you false information. Nope, he didn't direct that at all. He was the producer and he directed the first one. Excuse me. I know my details. Anthony Russo is credited on IMDb as the director. Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, he's the director. He's done a lot of work in TV actually. But what'd you think of some of the shots? I like some of the longer takes, like especially in the beginning over the ship. I think they did some sweet camera work in that sequence specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought there was a lot of really well crafted shots throughout the film. There's especially the scene where Captain America returns to his apartment and the radio's playing. Nick Fury's in the apartment. The way that they did the wrap around the bookshelf.
Mm-hmm, that was cool.
The wrap around the bookshelf and then they reveal from the other side. I thought that was well done, especially between that and the cameo. And then, like you said, a lot of especially the kill scene with Bucky. The one take, just throw him up in the air, boom.
Oh yeah, there was some sweet ass fight scenes in this, and a few of them that didn't cut for a solid 30-40 seconds. I'm a huge long take nerd. I just love that shit. Also the sweeping sweeping helicopter shot over the boat in the beginning that just goes right up to the chain and boom, there's Captain. And again, when he's running alongside of the boat and just smashing people over the side, and it's fun. If this movie was a video game, I would try it for sure. Just buy it.
Like you said, the chase scenes. I thought the chase scenes were some of the best I've seen in a long time.
There's two of them, and for fuck's sakes, it's glorious.
Yeah, and they were easily the best I've seen in a good long while.
Mm-hmm. And it helps that Winter Soldier is as equally equipped or more equipped than Captain America.
That's one of the sickest shots to me too. Is when you first reveal Winter Soldier as Samuel L. Jackson's driving up.
Just out of nowhere.
They showed it in the preview, so we're not spoiling nothing here.
No, it's from the trailer, so.
But yeah, they showed it in the trailer. So, anyways, he shoots the little mine under the SUV, blows up, just dodges out of the way. I love that shot. I thought that was gorgeous.
These are some of my favorite shots in big ass action films. It's stuff like that. Is when he's like, oh, a friggin' car explodes over top of you. It's glorious.
And the fight scene where Cap takes his mask off.
Yeah. Who is he fighting? Is that the MMA fighter he's fighting in that scene, or is that just a stunt dude? On the ship, the final fight of the ship where he
that's George St. Pierre.
Oh yeah, I knew I recognized that guy. George St. Pierre. That's another thing to comment on the fighting. It looks like a little bit of MMA kind of got in there, a little bit of harder hits and more precise strikes and shit like that. Of course.
Well, he pretty much gets the Winter Soldier in an arm-trapped rear naked choke. Mm-hmm. Arm-trapped rear naked choke, and that's how he finishes him off. Well, before he starts getting blasted.
Just fucking blasted. A lot of guns in this movie too. It was a beautiful blend of guns and hand-to-hand melee. But we're getting into the nitty-gritty of action movie details.
Nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about? I'm sorry for getting the wrong director, by the way. It was Joe Russo and Anthony Russo. I think they're brothers or some shit.
Joe and Anthony Russo, huh?
Yeah, I don't believe they did the first one. No, they didn't. And
Well, they did a fantastic job on this one. I hope they do the
they
third.
they produce Community.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And what about directing? What have they done? Welcome to Collinwood. You ever seen that? With
No.
it's got fucking William H Macy and I don't know. It's kind of a funny. Oh yeah, they did Arrested Development. What? This is really weird.
Hmm.
You, Me, and Dupree. You remember that awful movie with?
That was a terrible movie.
Yeah. Well, let's forget that
So
never
this
happened.
this gorgeous film is directed by the same guys as Jimmy and Dupree.
That is correct, sir.
Well, that's shameful, but I'm glad they've seemed to
Hey
have
man,
worked themselves back into the.
everyone deserves redemption. All
Yeah,
right.
like I said, they seem to have worked themselves back. They've obviously paid penance.
Yes, they paid their dues. They made their shitty stuff, and now they're making action films and fucking Sam Jackson's in their shit. You know you've made it. Sam Jackson's in your movie. Yeah. Anything else to cover? Any other likes, gripes? Anything you disliked, even? Because we've pretty much been just praising the ground the Winter Soldier walks on. So.
Well, I mean, obviously, it just as like any other comic book movie or even action movie in general, there's moments that are extremely,
Cheesy.
yeah, unfathomable, really.
Oh well, yeah. There's a
But
certain you need a certain disbelief to watch
I
movies
think it's
like
done
this.
better than something like the Wolverine or even the
Yes,
X
I
Men,
would agree with that.
anything in the X Men series so far, except for First Class, of course.
Hmm. First Class, so good. Yeah, this is Marvel's best movie yet, maybe. Like I don't know. Fingers crossed for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I wish somehow they could just get Fox and Sony's properties, like somehow just like take them from them,
Hmm.
so
I
that
think
they own
it's.
everything.
Let's hope it's coming, man, because Disney has got fuck you money. They are one of the biggest companies in the world, especially like they may be the biggest entertainment company in the world. I'm not sure about that. But they got fuck you
Hmm.
money, and Sony
Okay.
unfortunately doesn't have fuck you money anymore. um, Fox kind of does, so we'll see. I think Disney should just, buy it, throw money at it
Yeah.
until Sony gets the message and Fox gets the message, and then they can have this super mega world of movies. And they can release 12 of them a year and saturate the market. It'll be great. um, yeah,
I'll just bathe in the comic book movies. I'll be the only guy left in the theater,
yeah. It's gonna
sitting
get
there
to
in my T-shirt for whatever movie's coming out.
yeah, it's gonna get to a point that every other weekend during the summer there'll be a new fucking superhero movie.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with it too. The summer of 2015 is shaping up to be a fucking glorious summer for movies, especially comic book movies.
Oh yeah,
This summer is gonna be good too. Guardians of the Galaxy. If you can't tell, we're fucking
I'm
excited.
excited for that.
But yeah, it's gonna be a good summer for movies, and God bless Marvel. God bless Marvel. Yeah, it's Hail Hydra. They got an 8.2 on the old IMDb. Not that that's a reputable source for reviews, but
I'm still not, huh?
it's still, the Internet Movie Database. That's still surprising though, because the first Avenger, the last Captain America, got a 6, a 6.2. Definite step up.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that's a big step up, clearly.
Yeah,
And you
man.
can tell, I mean, even from the previews, you can tell that it's a step up from the original.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so well done how they transfer it from, well, the original set in 1945 for the most part,
Hmm.
whereas this one is all the way in relatively now,
That's the thing.
which
Yeah,
seemed
we
the
haven't
present.
even we haven't even touched on that.
Slight future, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, it's an
But
alternate future. There's definitely no hover aircraft carriers.
obviously.
Thank God. But um,
But
yeah, they
everyone
don't.
already has those
They
things
don't.
fucking triangulated.
Hail Hydra. They don't have. What's the word I'm looking for? They don't completely forget
Where
about.
are the targets?
The targets just go to 3. Oh no. They don't. Fuck! I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, they don't ignore Captain America's past, like the 1940s. Like they do go back to his original training ground. Of course, Bucky plays a major role. I like that they didn't completely forget that this guy's like a fossil, basically, as Scarlett Johansson says. And I really like that old school Cold War bunker that they went into, that the scientist was in.
Oh yeah, that Zola's in.
Zola's in, yeah. I like that that set and that scene, I guess. It was cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, any other closing thoughts on what you think about the Winter Soldier, perhaps?
Honestly, I thought the Winter Soldier was handled well. He was like an insanely crazy badass. The only thing I didn't like is that they really didn't seem to acknowledge anything about the Russian background of the Winter Soldier there.
The KGB and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
they just went right into
and Natasha's background for that matter too.
Well, that's what I mean. They just went right to Hydra. Unless that's what maybe they're doing the Winter Soldier film. Who knows? They got all
Or
this stuff
Black
out.
Widow film, you know.
I sure would like to peek behind the fucking curtain and look, but
I want to know
unfortunately,
what's
don't have
going
that
on in
opportunity.
one day we'll work for Marvel one day.
Yeah.
I just want to work for Joss
Yeah.
Whedon, not Marvel. So Joss, if you're watching, I will bring you coffee for $6 an hour. I don't give a fuck.
We love you.
Yes. Yeah. If I had to give this a rating, even though I don't really believe in ratings all that much, but this is an easy 9 out of 10 movie. This is a hit, if you will.
I would agree 100%. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Maybe even a 9.5 out of 10 if we're talking just in the realm of comic book movies.
It's a damn near perfect comic book movie, and it's a really, really good film, if you will. Or it's a good film, we'll say. Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun to watch, not quite as goofy and wacky as the Avengers and some of the Iron Man has been. I like that. It's a bit of a change in tone for the Marvel Universe. I like that. All around a good goddamn film. It's not too long either. It's only 136 minutes. A minute 36. 136 minutes, which isn't like, crazy long, and I enjoyed that as well. That they got everything they needed to said in the time they had.
Yeah, and fungus as well.
Yeah. All right then. Thank you for tuning in to our review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and this has been Movieverse. My name is the Habitual Pixel. You can check out my channel in the description below. I play video games and I do movie shit. That's basically what I do. And this is my buddy, Big Nasty Productions. This guy. Tell the world what you do. And what
I do
you're all-
movie reviews and other reviews and original shorts, so check them out.
There you go. That's a nice little jingle you got there. Links to channels and other videos and other work in the description below. And we'll see you guys next time on Movieverse.
Bye.